In the Bungus area, you can easily find only 23 of the supply pods by visiting the strongholds, while the other 35 are hidden and you will discover them using this video. For the first, start from the top left side of the map. To be precise, you have to reach the small stronghold on top of one of the islands. Looking around, you will find a building built on top of the water. Reach the platform in front of it and speak with the hyena guard you will find here. At the end of the conversation, you will receive a side quest called Hyena's Bungus Base. Then open your map and under the Bungus name you have to use the Space Rift. Next, turn around and after a pink robot you have to go upstairs to the right. In the square on the left you will find a port guard called Loswell you have to speak to. At the end of the conversation, the quest objective will be updated and you have to go back to the hyena guard that gave you this quest. While speaking with him, you have to choose only the last option. As a result, you will be teleported inside the base. Immediately in front of you, you will notice a staircase you have to use, then, staying on the left, you will find a jumping pathway to reach the roof of the building. From here then, jump toward the watchtower, where you will be able to collect the first supply pod. The second is still in the top left side of the map, near the islands. This time though, from the island with the small stronghold, you have to reach the one immediately above it. Here you will find a cooperative challenge and you have to check behind it, where you will find the supply pod covered with some thorn vine that you have to destroy attacking it with a fire weapon. By doing so, you will be able to loot the second supply pod of the area. The third is still in the top left corner of the map, but this time along the shores you have to reach the training facility. From its location, turn to the left and defeat all the enemies in front of the broken pipe. Then you will be able to loot the third supply pod inside. For the fourth, go even further up in the top left corner of the map, where you have to reach the right entrance inside the Lone Dog stronghold. From here, turn to the left and use the passage on the left side from the tree line. This will allow you to find in front of a small overhanging a pod covered with the thorn vine. Remove the plant using a fire weapon, then loot the fourth supply pod. The fifth is still in the top left corner of the map. This time though, you have to reach the battle training camp in the middle. From its location, turn around and start using the rod. After reaching the higher part, look to the left and behind a rock and a tree you will find a pod covered with the thorn vine. So free it up using a fire weapon and loot the fifth supply pod. Continue exploring the top left side of the map, where this time you have to reach the small stronghold below the signal station ruins. From its main entrance, turn to the right and enter inside the cylindrical structure you will notice on the left side of the road. In its right corner, using the fire weapon, destroy the thorn vine and you will be able to loot the sixth supply pod. For the seventh, you have to check the central part of the top left side of the map, where you have to start from the small stronghold to the top right from the signal station ruins. On the right side of this enchantment, you will find a stone arch. Using the left overhangings, climb on top of the hill and start exploring the bridge. In its center, you will find the seventh hidden supply pod of the area. The eighth is still in the top left side of the map, but this time you have to reach the Omnium Tower. From here, turn to the left and then glide your way till the top left corner of the hill you will see in front of you. Next, you have to climb the mountain to the left. You have to reach its higher point in order to find and loot the 8th supply pod. The 9th is still in the top left side of the map, but this time you have to reach its top right corner. Start from the Space Rift inside the Black Market. From its location, you have to use the passage to the right, where you will find some red barrels you have to use in order to reach the roof of the next building, then climb on top of the hill to the right. Next, you have to reach the roof above the road, and at the beginning of it you will find the 9th supply pod you can loot now. For the 10th, go slightly below the Black Market Space Rift. To be precise, you need to reach the right side of the small stronghold you will find near the boss area. From here, if you look to the right, you will notice 4 trees. In the area between them, you will find a thorn vine covering a pod. Attack it with a fire weapon, so you will be able to loot the 10th supply pod of the area. For the next, you have to check the area above the region name. To be precise, you have to start above the small stronghold located to the left side from the banners corridor, from where you have to turn around and you will notice another tent in the distance. On the other side, near the overhanging, you will find a thorn vine covering a pod. Attack it with a fire weapon, then you will be able to loot the supply pod you came for. For the next two, start again from the previous small stronghold entrance, from where you have to turn around and use the two overhangings in order to reach the upper side of the mountain. Then start using the passage to the left, going down. Near the corner of the mountain to the right, you will find a thorn vine covering a pod. Attack it with a fire weapon, so you will be able to loot the 11th supply pod. While proceeding a little bit further, you have to defeat the enemies you will find in the enchantment. This will allow you, in the center of the enchantment above the bones, to loot the 12th supply pod of the region. The 14th is in the top right corner of the map, where you have to start from the training facility called Destroy Device, where you will find a drone close to the overhanging. From its location, turn to the right and jump downhill on the right side from the destroyed building. Next, turn around and near the small overhanging, you will find a pod trapped inside the thorn vine. So use a fire weapon to free it up and you will be able to loot the 14th supply pod of the region. For the 15th, keep exploring the top right corner of the map. This time though, you have to reach the central training facility called Speed. From its location, you have to look to the right in order to find a crane. At the end of its upper side, you will find the 15th supply pod that you will be able to collect. The 16th is also in the top right side of the map. And again, you have to start from the central training facility. This time though, you need to use the rod behind it. In the center of this rod on the left, you will find the 16th supply pod to collect. For the 17th, you have to reach the area where you will notice the region name, where you have to start from the cooker NPC above the tech text in the map. From its location, you have to go to the left, where you will notice a staircase you have to use. Once up here, look to the right and you will notice a ladder in the corner of the building you have to use next. At this point, look to the left and in the corner of the fence you will find the 17th supply pod that you can collect now. The 18th is also on top of the location name. And again, start from the cooker NPC above the tech text in the map, from where look to the left and go upstairs. From here you have to use the passage on the left side of the building and get behind the containers. Then, on the right side from the cylindrical structure, you have to reach the mountain wall that you have to climb to. Up here, looking to the left, you will find several trees. Between them, you will find a pod covered with the thorn vine you have to free using a fire weapon. This will allow you to collect the 18th supply pod of the region. For the 19th, you have to check the area slightly to the bottom left side from the location name, where under the Bangus factories you will find two small strongholds and you have to start from the one on the right, from where you have to turn around and using the mountain wall you will find here reach the broken road on the right. Then look to the right and using the small metallical platform reach the edge of this road. In the center of it you will find the 19th supply pod you can collect. The 20th is below the location name. You will find the Bangus dock and you have to start from the cooker NPC on the left side of it. From here you have to go upstairs to the left until you will reach an helicopter. In front of it you will find a rod you have to start using. On the right side of it you have to jump on top of the stone behind the street lamp. Next, using the jetpack, reach the right side of the street lamp and you will be able to collect the 20th supply pod from up here. The 21st is also slightly below the location name. This time though you have to start from the Benji's Dock Space Rift, from where then go to the right and after the first ramp use the jetpack in order to reach the support of the crane lift. In its right corner you will find the 21st supply pod to loot. For the next two, start again from the area below the location name, and again from the Benji's Dock Space Rift. This time though, use both ramps in order to reach the upper side. where using the crates, then the jetpack, reach the upper side of the overhanging. Then proceed further and use the passage between the trees in front of you. At the end of it you will find a road going to the right leading toward an opened gate. In front of it, inside the grass on the right, you will find a torn vine covering a pod. Attack it with the fire weapon so you will be able to loot the 22nd supply pod of the region. Now proceed further in the same direction and reach the road, where you have to start going to the left. At the end of the right guardrail, you will find the 23rd supply pod. For the 24th, you have to go to the central right side of the map. To be precise, you have to start from the Banges Farm Space Rift. From here, turn around and start going toward the road. Once you reach the overhanging, look below the road and you will notice a support pillar. Now jump toward it and immediately after use the jetpack in order to slow down the fall. This is needed in order to easily reach the upper hole of the support pillar, where you will find the 24th supply pod to loot. The 25th is also in the central right side of the map, but this time you have to start from the ruin B03. On the left side from its entrance you will find a small overhanging you have to climb on top of. Then, behind the right bigger tree, near the mountain wall, you will find a torn vine covering a pod. Free it up using a fire weapon, then you will be able to loot the 25th supply pod of the region. The next two also can be found in the central right side of the map. And again, you will need to start from the entrance inside the ruin B03. This time though, go behind it and jump down from the overhanging, aiming toward the forest below. Immediately after the last tree, in plain sight, you will find a torn vine covering a pod. So free it up with a fire weapon and loot the 26th supply pod of the region. Now turn around and explore the area along the forest. This will allow you to find two small stone pillars with an enemy to its left. After you will defeat him, get on top of the pillar and loot the 27th supply pod. Next, turn around and start using the road going to the right. While doing so, if you will stay close to the left margins, you will find the 28th supply pod on top of the second part of the support pillar. For the 29th, it's time to reach the bottom right side of the map, where you have to start from the space rift called the MT Wushu. On the right side of it, start climbing on top of the pillar. Using the central hole, recover your stamina. Then use the metallical rods in order to be able to climb further up. From the next section you have to start going to the right in order to reach the horizontal support. From its center you have to double jump and attach yourself on the upper side of the support. Now keep going to the left until you will reach the second corner, from where you have to use the jump button to reach the upper section. Using this metallical part, you will be able to climb all the way up till the road. Then, in the center of the left overhanging, you will find the supply pod you came for. That 13th is in the bottom right side of the region. To be precise, you need to start from the stronghold in the Anchorville. From its main entrance, use the ramps all the way till the higher part. Then jump on top of the small overhanging and go toward the road pillar. Behind it, on the right, you will find another ramp going down. At its beginning, hidden behind a billboard, you will find the 13th supply pod. For the 31st, continue exploring the bottom right side of the map. This time though, you have to reach the training facility on the right side from the Anchorville. Behind it, looking downhill, you will notice the beginning of a waterfall. On the left side of it, you will find the 31st supply pod staying on top of the sewers pipe. The 32nd is still in the bottom right side of the map, where again you have to start from the training facility on the right side of the Anchorville. This time though, look to the left and you will notice a small forest uphill. Reach its right corner, where you will need to use the jetpack in order to get on top of the hill. From where, turn to the right, and by just running forward, you will be able to climb the mountain. Keep going up until you will reach the peak, where, in the left corner, you will find the 32nd supply pod to collect. For the 33rd, you have to reach the bottom right corner of the map. Start from the space rift called the Banges Shelter. Now get behind the space rift and jump over the fence. Immediately after, start using the jetpack so you'll be able to reach the wind turbine on top of a stone pillar. In fact, exactly above it you will find that 33rd supply pod to collect. That 34th is also in the bottom right corner of the map near the space rift called Banges Shelter. From here, turn around and use the ramp going down. Then, a little bit further, you have to reach the entrance of the building on the left. But the entrance will be closed with an energy wall. To open it, interact with the panel on the right side and use the password 1647. This will remove the barrier and allow you to enter inside in order to loot that 34th supply pod. In case in the future patch the code will be randomized, check the video link in the description that explains how I obtained the code. The 35th and the last hidden supply pod is also in the bottom right side of the map near the space rift called Banges Shelter. This time though, from the space rift, jump over the fence to the right. Then, along the right mountain wall, you will notice some wooden platforms along the next hill. In the corner of the first turn of this ramp, you will find the 35th supply pod to loot.